arms down. Head back. Hold on.
That's kind of the book ending to this chapter of following the end of Kingda Ka.
See, but that just doesn't feel like enough for me. For a coaster as legendary and monumental as Kingda Ka.
Sure, it definitely went out with a bang, but I think we can give Ka its happy ending.
Hey, you see this?
Oh, with the museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, I saw it, and that's why I have you out here, because it's a crazy idea.
What?
One, deliver car to Texas.
What do you mean?
Get a truck or a trailer.
You mean you want to drive it there?
Yeah, why not?
What are you, crazy? They're never going to let you do
I
that.
already looked up how long it takes to get there.
How long?
Yeah, with the truck, depending on what we take, like a day and change, if we go kind of straight.
And you're always complaining about driving, now you want to drive all the way to Texas?
Well, no, I already pitched the idea to someone else, too.
Darrius.
Yep.
And what did he have to say?
It's like, it's crazy, he goes, but it's kind of doable. I mean, think about it. I mean, that's the end of the story. That's it, right?
You know,
Closes it.
let me go text Kris.
So, hey, Kris, Colin and I have a pretty exciting opportunity to run by you. Let's hope that you're equally as enthusiastic about it as we are. You know, this was a pretty tough year for all of the fans of Six Flags Great Adventure, and losing Kingda Ka was huge. Not only losing it, but losing it on my birthday was like insult to injury. We were sitting down just in one of our random conversations, and actually Colin's dad, Phil, threw out like a pretty crazy idea with Colin, and then Colin ran it by me, and I was like, hey, that's really crazy, but I think, you know, it has some legs. And so we want to talk to you about that idea, which is essentially to grab the Kingda Ka train at Great Adventure and drive it out to you guys at the museum. We feel strongly about its final resting place, and so wanted to see if you would even be remotely open to us picking the train up and taking the responsibility to getting it to you.
You want to do what?
We want to
I know. I told my dad when he came
that?
up with it. It sounds crazy.
Because think about it, right? This is going to kind of be the proper book ending to the chapter of Kingda Ka and make this big journey out of it across the country, have a couple stops, of course, promoting the museum, promoting the fact that the ride has been saved to a certain degree. I think we have something pretty cool on our hands here.
Yeah, that's quite the idea. All right, I'm game for it.
Let's do it.
Let's do
Awesome.
it.
Now that we got a yes, some of the things we have to put together are the logistics. We know that the open truck isn't going to get us all the way to Texas just based on how they rent those things out. So we're going to wind up getting a large box truck. Anyone have any ideas on, you know, where we should go for that?
Yes, so it turns out that we have a great contact, Miss Diane, over at Penske, and she has helped the museum out in the past, and I know she'd be able to help us out again.
The rest is on us to figure out the route and everything else. Thank you, Kris.
Oh, don't thank me, thank Miss Diane. She's awesome. She's like the mom of the group.
We got a couple of different ways that we can go about getting this across to Texas.
I think our best bet would be the center route, straight through the heartland, direct to Plainview. At least looking at the Google Maps data says
Speaking
that
of the
that's best
heartland,
route.
there's a really
Nice
nice.
stop along that route that happens to be the best theme park in America.
Really?
You really want to bring this thing to Silver Dollar City?
I mean,
Hey, why not?
Yeah, we're not taking that thing out of the box, though.
listen, no guest appearances, but I definitely, as one of the drivers, I feel good about the middle route, and I wouldn't mind getting a park in the middle of this trip before we make it all the way to Texas.
It's going to be a lot of driving, and it's not necessarily easy driving because you've got that huge load behind you, and you always have to be thinking about taking corners, slowing down, things like that. So definitely having maybe a break might not be the worst idea, I think. So we can make some phone calls.
It's only long live the king if the king lives the trip. So
right.
Yes, we'll definitely take a pretty good break.
Then I say we go with it.
All right, Colin, you don't get a vote since you're one of the drivers. I'll proxy vote for your dad, and so I think we're ready to roll.
Day 1, Sunday, July 6th, began with Ken driving us down to Six Flags Great Adventure, where we would retrieve the Penske box truck that had Kingda Ka sitting inside waiting to be taken to Texas. But upon arriving, we figured out that there'd be a few extra steps needed in order to get ourselves on the road. There was actually nothing for us to tie the pallet down to, so we went over to security, talked to them for a little bit, and they sent over some carpenters from the park who came over and helped us out.
Alright, our solution seems to have been found. Huge thank you to the Great Adventure maintenance and carpentry team. They really did come in clutch here. They have those wood blocks there, so you can see we have a few going on down the side of the frame as they're drilling them in right now. And then they also have a longer one in the front and the back that's kind of notched a little bit. That way it holds the train down a little bit better. So hopefully this will be our solution that we need to safely transport Kingda Ka to Texas.
And lo and behold, that was exactly the solution we needed to secure Kingda Ka. So then we loaded up all of our belongings because this was going to be a long trip, so we needed to bring everything we would need for such a long journey. So with that,
Let's get the show on the road. Oh, guess what?
the first leg of the trip was driven by my dad, Phil, who, probably liked that air horn a little bit too much. But the first leg of the trip was going directly to Hershey Park. Hershey Park has one of the most diverse coaster collections out of any amusement park in the country, and one of their coasters in particular, that being Storm Runner, played a pretty vital role to this story. Storm Runner is one of the only hydraulic launching coasters built by Intamin left in the United States. There's only 3, and this is the closest one to where Kingda Ka once resided at Six Flags Great Adventure. Hershey Park was kind enough to accommodate us with complimentary admission as well as behind-the-scenes access to Storm Runner, including views of the never-before-seen hydraulic room for Storm Runner, which is what powers the launch system of the attraction. But before we could get too excited about getting to ride Storm Runner, first we needed to actually get to Hershey Park. The drive was about 2.5 hours, which gave my dad a lot of time to get used to the dynamics of driving the truck. We took Interstate 195 west to I-95, aka the New Jersey Turnpike, which then brought us to Interstate 276, bringing us out to I-76 west, which brought us towards Hershey, and after taking a few local state highways, we wound up making it to the park.
This is the real fun part, is trying to park.
Kingda Ka has made it to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Then we bid farewell to the truck as we got driven up to the Hershey Park entrance and went on inside.
Here comes Storm Runner, one of the last remaining coasters in America. Phenomenal ride, just like Kingda Ka was too.
The incredible Scott Siller from Hershey Park then took us on an exclusive tour of Storm Runner, first bringing us into the hydraulic room where we got to watch as the system worked to launch the coaster from 0 to 72 miles per hour. Getting to be up close and personal with the systems that power such an incredible coaster really does make you appreciate it that much more, especially when thinking about how Kingda Ka was powered off the same system, but that much more powerful to allow it to reach the speeds it did. But through watching all of this, I got the chance to catch up with Scott and talk to him a little bit more about Storm Runner.
So Scott has been taking us around today. Thank you so much, Scott, for all these incredible, usually unseen angles of Storm Runner. What does it mean to you to have such an incredible, unique coaster at Hershey Park?
Yeah, we're super proud to have Storm Runner as part of our collection. Have to take my hat off to our mechanics and our electricians and the other members of our maintenance team that keeps all the rides running consistently and safely throughout the years. And as rides get older, it's like having a classic car. As the car gets older and older, it takes a little bit more upkeep to keep them running. And we're incredibly proud to be able to keep offering some of the aging attractions and still have them here for everyone to enjoy.
Standing there with Scott and the rest of our crew watching as Stormrunner went by over and over again got me really, really excited to finally go and ride Stormrunner, so that is exactly what we went and did.
Alright, we are now here on Stormrunner in the front row, and every time I ride this ride now, I can't help but feel like I'm on Kingda Ka, because it always felt like that, but now that Kingda Ka is gone, it makes it feel like that just a little bit more. But here we are, sitting at the launch track, cocking back. Now get ready. Here we go.
Before we left Hershey Park for the day, we grabbed some classic milkshakes from Milton's Ice Cream Parlor before heading back out to the Penske truck. We opened up the back and let Kingda Ka say goodbye to Hershey Park, and especially Stormrunner, for one last time, since that's probably the last time the two coasters will ever be in the same place again. Now it was time for a shift in drivers as Darrius took the helm of the Penske as we started heading west with the goal set on getting towards Kings Island, which was near Cincinnati, Ohio.
Darrius is behind the wheel of this large automobile. So Darrius, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm about 4 hours into my shift. Just going to get us to the next gas station. But for a 26-foot object, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's an interesting ride for sure. Middle seat update. It's not that bad. I'm really not uncomfortable. My only issue is that I was trying to sleep, and it's not really a good place to sleep. While this one here was on his phone when he should have been sleeping. So,
but look, my seat bounces.
Yeah, Darrius is quite bouncy. Every time we hit a bump, I look over and it's just ba-boom, ba-boom, like that. So the drive's going fairly well. Nothing like getting out of this car after how long, Darrius?
4 hours and 15 minutes of driving, 26 feet of madness.
26 feet of madness is right. We have made it to Love's because we gotta fill her up. Oh well. Splash. There you go. Let's see, did it live to tell the tale? It did.
Yes, Kingda Ka did survive, but the pallet it's sitting on isn't looking too great. The real question is, will it be able to make it all the way to the museum? Well, I guess we'll find out as we go.
Locked and loaded?
I think so.
Set this show on the road then.
Let's go.
Look at that, Kingda Ka made it and even got to catch some nighttime fireworks as well as a wonderful conclusion to day one of Teal Team 6. In day one alone, we drove just about 600 miles starting in New Jersey at Six Flags Great Adventure, ending off at Spring Hill Suites in Mason, Ohio, where we bunkered down for the night to get some rest in preparation for day 2 of Teal Team 6. Wake up, it is time for day 2 of Teal Team 6. We of course have to say good morning to Kingda Ka as we get ready to take it on its next adventure, which is actually bringing us to Holiday World. And what's really cool about our visit to Holiday World is that we get to highlight another launch coaster. Obviously on day 1 we went to Hershey Park to highlight Stormrunner, a sister coaster to Kingda Ka. At Holiday World we're taking a look at Thunderbird, which is an LSM launched wing coaster, which kind of represents the next version of the launch coaster from Kingda Ka. Hydraulic launches were known for their really high intensity, their super fast acceleration, but also for their unreliability. LSM launch coasters kind of changed the game because they were able to be fairly powerful while also being very, very reliable. And Thunderbird is a very unique case, being that it's also a wing coaster and powered a little bit differently than most LSM launch coasters are. So let's get on the road and head on over to Holiday World.
Well, I guess that love for the air horn isn't just exclusive to my dad. Darrius seems to love it too. But as we left, we hopped on Interstate 71 South, which brought us past Louisville and essentially became Interstate 64 as we continued towards Holiday World. But let's go check in on the cabin and see what's going on in there. We're about 28 minutes out from Holiday World. We're getting close. You might notice I'm in a new position. That's because my dad was so generous as to let me sit in the passenger side. I attempted to get some sleep. It's not too easy in this super bouncy truck. But Darrius, this is your shift of driving. We're almost done with it. How's it going?
It's a pleasure to drive a 26-foot box truck for hundreds of miles, especially with you sleeping in the corner with the stove, so elegant with your head across them.
I try, especially on these incredibly bouncy roads in the Midwest. They take such good care of them out here. But Kingda Ka, welcome to Holiday World. Well, Dad, we've made it. Never thought I'd see the day we were driving a Penske box truck holding Kingda Ka to Holiday World of all places. There you go. And there's Kingda Ka. Once we parked and got settled in, my dad decided to clean the windshield, which was a lot more difficult than it would be on a normal car because this thing is so big. Then we went inside the park and rode some of the wooden coasters like Legend, Voyage, and then made our way towards Thunderbird. And now we have made it back to Thunderbird, the only launch coaster here at Holiday World, B&M Wing Coaster. Absolutely awesome ride. And again, this one, you know, kind of shows the evolution of Kingda Ka, right? You go from the hydraulic launch going for those records, the speed, the acceleration, but then, you know, that kind of fell out of style with the end of the Coaster Wars. Parks wanted to have stuff that was more akin to their lineup, that would do well for their market, and Thunderbird's a great example of that. Great ride, nothing that's gonna absolutely blow your mind with intensity or anything. It's just a really solid, crowd-pleasing attraction, which at the end of the day is what parks need. So after going for a ride on Thunderbird, which was awesome by the way, the incredible Holiday World team, who also accommodated us with complimentary admission, went and took us into the computer room or launch room for Thunderbird. Now we couldn't film inside, but the things we saw are absolutely unreal, and the amount of engineering that went into what powers such a great coaster really was a lot to wrap my head around, which is why it's best explained by Darrius.
All right, that was awesome. One, to my knowledge, it's the only flywheel-driven power system that I know of for an electrically launched coaster. Second, what they did is absolutely ingenious. They pull enough power off to power a flywheel, and then the flywheel generates even more power for the launch. So I believe they're getting 480 off the wire, and then they're bumping it up to 600 using a flywheel, and that flywheel is then going to the power's going to the actual launch system. That's amazing. If we had that in New Jersey, we probably would have some rides still standing, and they would have never gone down, I think. That was always the issue with a couple of rides we've had around the world, including one of my favorites, and I know Phil's favorite in New Jersey, Batman and Robin the Chiller used to cause brownouts, and this is an ingenious way to keep from doing that.
But after that, we headed out of the park, which also included dodging a pretty gnarly rainstorm. But we got out of the park, got back to the truck, and took some photos with Ka and the Holiday World water tower, because how could we not? And now that we had unwrapped that piece of Kingda Ka's train, it really did enable us to do some pretty fun things with the train and bringing it to different locations, which we certainly would do on the next leg of the drive. Goodbye, Holiday World. Thanks for having us. Right after departing Holiday World, we had to stop for a quick fuel run, and geez, that diesel really does add up after a while. But then we continued on Interstate 64 west, heading towards St. Louis, and once we reached St. Louis, Darrius was really getting hungry, and he was really craving some White Castle. Dad, how is the drive going so far?
Not too bad. It's okay to make up for it.
Hey, it could be a lot worse. We could be over there right now.
There.
Darrius, how's it been in the passenger seat?
I am enjoying my time off, and I'm looking forward to my next time behind the wheel, which should be in about an hour or so.
You're also really looking forward to some White Castle.
Possibly.
Awesome. That is the one thing Darrius has been talking about since the beginning of the drive.
Gotta stop off and get some murder burgers.
So after the shift over to Interstate 44,
we went to the Meckham Park area of St. Louis, which happened to have a Jersey Mike's, White Castle, and Lowe's all pretty much right next to each other. I wanted Jersey Mike's, he wanted White Castle, so it worked out perfectly, and we got to have a little bit of fun with it too.
Everybody's hungry.
Including the king himself.
The king himself. I was hearing him crying back here that he's hungry. The king has made it to the castle. The White Castle. It is time we make a toast to Kingda Ka with the sliders. Long live sliders.
Long live sliders.
Sliders. I don't know about that.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
The king.
Now, if there's one thing we can take away from this whole trip, that truly is to never stop improving here at Lowe's.
And no, Kingda Ka did not actually eat the slider, nor did Lowe's help us at all with this journey.
All right, D. Home stretch for the day. We got an hour 48.
And that hour and 48 minutes that we had left was taking us to a Fairfield Inn hotel in St. Robert, Missouri, which was not too far away from Silver Dollar City, which would make our drive for the next day quite a bit easier. But on this journey, we also wound up going right past Six Flags St. Louis. Unfortunately, time did not allow us to stop in, but it was nice to say hello. And then we drove through the night until we got to the hotel. We've arrived to our hotel, just like about 2 hours away from Silver Dollar City here in Missouri. And around 500 miles of driving later, that was it for day 2 of Teal Team 6. Good morning from day 3 with this very interesting looking hotel waffle as we get ready to embark on the next chapter of the journey. And of course,
Opening that door never really gets old, does it, Dad? But we are here, back at the truck, loading up as we're leaving our hotel that's about 2 hours out from Silver Dollar City. That will be our next stop, and they were so kind as to fully accommodate us with a hotel stay, park admission, the whole 9 yards, and we're gonna have an excellent time at one of my favorite theme parks in the world.
that's right, Silver Dollar City really rolled out that red carpet for us, but we had to get ready to go because thunderstorms were starting to approach. But we couldn't get too far without having to stop for fuel, of course. Up to this point, the truck was averaging around 8 to 10 miles per gallon, which honestly wasn't too bad. We weren't having to stop for fuel as frequently as we originally expected, which led to us gaining a lot of time in driving.
All right, as we're driving, we just watched what on air, Darrius?
Fox 5 New York with anchor Dan Bowen covering this trip. It was
Teal
awesome.
Team 6 on the news. Let's watch it right now.
So long live the king. The Kingda Ka roller coaster that is what was once the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster is rolling again. Sort of. Take a look.
The reveal. That's it for the water.
All right, there it is, an exclusive look at what's next for the legendary roller coaster from Great Adventure. This is Operation Teal Team 6, named after Kingda Ka's teal-colored lead car and section of launch track. The iconic ride will skip the scrapyard and be preserved at the National Roller Coaster Museum. Did you know there was a National Roller Coaster Museum? Who knew? No. Down in Texas, with the help of donations from thrill-riding fans all across the country, 3 friends who are roller coaster enthusiasts, Darrius Jones and father and son Phil and Colin Petrignani. They're driving it from Jackson, New Jersey on a 25-foot box truck all the way down to West Texas, where the museum is located. I spoke to them after they got it all loaded up. Take a listen.
They're really focused on bringing this heritage of roller coasters to the world for people to come visit, especially the U.S. ones that we're tearing down, so that you can see that history, especially a coaster like Kingda Ka that was a record setter.
This can't be the end of the story. So when I saw this was going to happen, I was like, you know, that would be a really good way to like close the chapter on Kingda Ka and just finish the story.
This is the train that was just most recently redone. That's why that paint job looks so nice and fresh. And the park was kind enough to give the National Roller Coaster Museum the best example of what Kingda Ka's trains were.
That's right, we made it on the news. A huge thank you to Dan Bowens and the entire Fox 5 New York team for believing in our story and putting it out there. It was a really, really nice surprise that I know I wasn't expecting, and I imagine a lot of other people weren't expecting when they got to see it on their morning news. But the drive continued after we got to watch that live on air, and as we were driving towards Branson, if you know the area, you know it's very, very hilly there. Now this truck kind of struggles with hills, at least going uphill. What it doesn't struggle with though is going downhill. Now I'm not going to list exact speeds, but there's a friendly competition between my dad and Darrius going on throughout the trip of who could get the speed record. Like I said, not going to go into specifics on that speed, but this moment of the trip marked the time my dad was finally able to surpass Darrius' speed record.
Alright, we've got a monster hill coming up. My dad still cannot beat the elusive 60-mile-an-hour record set by Darrius over here. Could this be the moment?
By 5 miles an hour.
Wow. The one disadvantage with this, though,
41,
is that
40.
it cannot go up hills. You're probably going to drop 39 miles an hour.
But after we had our fun with that, we made it to Silver Dollar City. The park had us parked in their maintenance and construction lot, kind of in the back of the park, actually adjacent to Fire in the Hole. And after we opened up the truck, took a look at Kingda Ka, we went inside to have some fun at Silver Dollar City. We rode a couple rides like Fire in the Hole, Outlaw Run, but the two main focuses, at least for the narrative to Kingda Ka, were definitely Time Traveler and Powder Keg. Let's go over to Time Traveler first, shall we?
Time Traveler is a special one because it's an mock extreme spinning launch coaster, which is a really, really great model. I hope we see more come about. As of right now, there's only 2 in the world, this being one of them, the other one being Ride to Happiness over in Belgium, and hopefully sooner than later, we will probably wind up seeing more. So we're gonna go for a ride on this one and tell you guys how it compares to other rides like Kingda Ka, because again, we're looking at launch coasters throughout this trip. This one is a little more similar to Thunderbird compared to all the other ones we've been on, but it's still very different for the fact that, of course, you're spinning. It's a very different manufacturer, different feeling on the launch. So let's go show you guys how exactly Time Traveler holds up. All right, we just got off of Time Traveler in the back car. So good.
I honestly think that is probably the coolest, what I'll call an extreme family ride. Like, it's not an extreme thrill junkie ride. It's an extreme family ride. Everyone gets something out of it. I wish it spun a little bit more, but other than that, exceptional ride.
Dad?
As far as spinning goes for me,
You're probably happy.
Enough. I'm very happy. I like this ride a lot, although I'm not a big fan of spinning coasters. I like to see something similar to this come somewhere else in the States too. It'd be cool.
Yes, and Scott.
Oh yeah, by the way, that's Scott from the YouTube channel Coaster Force. He has also been following along on this journey with us as well.
As you're rotating, it's a really flowy ride. You can take in the scenery. And I think that's such a massive part of the ride that if it was constant nonstop action like a Ride of Happiness is, I just don't think it would hit the same. But the first drop out of the station, I was in that back train everybody's been talking about for years and years and years. I finally got to experience it. And
then we went and grabbed some food provided to us by the park, which was absolutely delicious. Then we went for another ride on Time Traveler and had this to say.
I was actually more impressed with the front row. The front row,
it surprised me.
Had a lot of like very independent width. We got a lot of like lateral air time. It was kind of a weird sensation where you're whipping through a roll, but you're sideways. I don't know. I liked it.
So with all that being said, obviously a big theme of this whole time here spent at Silver Dollar City is looking at launch coasters. We didn't get on Powder Keg yet. I'm not sure if we will, but we've got some rides in on Time Traveler. How do you think Time Traveler, not just as a ride, but looking at its launch system as well, how does it compare to Kingda Ka?
I mean, listen, it's a little bit softer. Mach has 2 different types of launches. They have the static launch, which, might be a little bit too much of a pause. And then they have the gliding launch, very similar to what they're doing in Orlando with Stardust. Probably not as punchy and doesn't have the double boost. It's a great ride, right? Once again, a little more, wide berth, family, we'll call it a family extreme coaster again, which a lot of these coasters here are. I enjoy it, but Kingda Ka, long live the king.
Long live the king.
That thing hit you in the stomach and didn't let go until you were back in the station.
But I do think that looking at Time Traveler, comparing it to Kingda Ka, kind of shows where the industry is heading as a whole. They're looking for rides that aren't just, again, looking for beating the records, going for tallest this, fastest that. They want complete, well-rounded attractions that work best for their lineup. And I think Time Traveler is definitely one of those.
They are looking for rides that appeal to 90% of the people that come to this park versus the top 20 extreme people. And so Kingda Ka was definitely on the top 20 on the extreme, whereas Time Traveler is one of those rides most of the family will be willing to ride.
We agreed that the Mach Extreme Spinner model was so unique because of the fact that it could really be made into anything. You could do some super tall, super fast extreme coaster, or do something a little on the smaller scale that is still thrilling, but also appeals to a much wider audience like Time Traveler does. But after this, we took a trip out to the front entrance of the park to take a few photos of Ka with the Silver Dollar City sign just for fun, before we headed back into the park, and we were actually able to catch Powder Keg as it opened from a downtime. But before we do that, I would be doing you guys a giant disservice if I didn't show some of the funny moments from my dad and Scott's side quest into Marvel Cave, which is a giant underground cave system located within Silver Dollar City. So let's take a look at some of those.
There's literally no way to do this justice.
No, this is
the
amazing.
scale is ridiculous.
Insane.
Like I said, they've flown hot air balloons in here before.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
The scale through this you just gotten coming down the stairs here.
Wow. It's got to give you about 100 safety skills before you do this.
But after all that, the four of us finally got to ride Powder Keg, the air launch coaster at Silver Dollar City, and funnily enough,
We were the final ride. It just shut down again.
We were possibly the final ride. We'll see. Are they letting people on? Nope.
Nope, everyone's leaving. Wow, we got really lucky. We waited it out. We got right on, back row. This ride's so much fun. It's nothing like it's gonna knock your socks off. The launch, it is another launch coaster, air launch. This is not necessarily the most powerful air launch I've ever experienced. Max Force definitely takes that because that is the only other one I've ridden. And well, I mean it's Max Force, but this ride, yeah, you have the Doodadumpa credit. I do not, and I probably never will. Well, definitely never will.
I have all the Doodadumpa credits.
Every version, huh?
Every version.
Wow. Doodadumpa, Dodadumpa. Yep. Wait, I just said the same thing.
I have Loop. I have Top Hat. I have Modified.
Wow. Look at Mr. D over here. He's got everything under his belt. And these two got lucky and grabbed it too. They were in the cave and somehow got right on with us too.
That was perfect timing.
I don't think it could have been any better.
Literally, I don't think it could have been any better.
That was perfect. Now it is cinnamon bread time.
of course, we then went and got our cinnamon bread and then left the park.
And away we go out of SDC.
Then, on our way over to the hotel, we noticed this crazy looking storm developing in the distance.
Kingda Ka meet a potential tornado.
But before that storm rolled in, myself as well as Zooter, who's following the journey, unwrapped a little bit more of Kingda Ka, and then this happened.
What are you doing?
Darrius is messing with us. Classic Darrius.
And as if that wasn't good enough, my dad was messing around with the underside of the train, taking a closer look at it, and then this happened.
There's your magnets.
There they are for the brakes.
Yep. Whoa. Oh,
While all six of us were all sitting there together, I figured I'd have everyone share one of their favorite memories from when Kingda Ka was in operation.
Tell me a story from you on Kingda Ka.
Man, I got a lot of good ones, but I just remember my last ride on Kingda Ka specifically, and as we're pulling out to the launch, there's a couple maintenance guys working on the ride off to the left, and I yelled at them, I go, hey, you guys want a beer? And they literally stopped what they're doing, turned around, and started walking towards the train. And we all just died laughing. It was awesome.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I wish I could have bought him a beer.
Not as upbeat. So a really good friend of mine, Chris Lewis, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the White Castle stop. He and I used to go to Six Flags all throughout high school. You know, one of his friends, Doug. We as adults didn't get a chance to hang out a lot. And one year, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in Jersey, meet me at Six Flags, and we rode Kingda Ka. And unfortunately, that was the last time I got to hang out with him. So
mine has to do with him. So all my life I was terrified of roller coasters. I absolutely hated them. And we would always watch POVs, specifically Scott's POVs over on Coaster Force. And I vividly remember being there on the couch, sitting there with my dad being like, look, I will never ride that roller coaster. And we were watching the Kingda Ka POV because at the time, all my life, I'm 20 years old, it was always the world's tallest roller coaster. And I always remember telling him, I will never ride that ride.
True.
Sure enough, last year in October, we're sitting there in the front row of Kingda Ka, late at night, for our very first ride, and that is a ride I will never forget. Just being blasted right there. 0 to what, 128 in 4 seconds. Like, what a remarkable experience. To be able to also share that with him was the ultimate full circle moment, because it was the ride that I swore I never thought I'd ride. And then here I was riding it, and here it is.
Here it is.
You know, the funny thing is, his story with coasters has always been about redemption, because he was afraid of coasters forever, and his younger brother was fine with it. So we had Knott's Berry Farm where we grew up, and we would ride Accelerator all the time, me and his little brother. He was always too afraid to go on it. So that's what kind of helped build that up. So, I mean, obviously that same day was my moment, because it was like, dude, I can't even believe, one, we're here. I never thought we'd be there. And riding the first, you know, the tallest with both boys, like that was solid for me.
Yeah.
I mean, from my first ride was just nuts, you know, but we got you on there finally, because that was what like built it all up and kind of like cemented it in. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, the memories with this ride, I mean, from riding up the bowl,
going right next to that hydraulic launch, in the computer room.
Walking in the infield, you know, all of our pictures as we're standing there in the infield. And then probably that last marathon night we had, it was you, me, and Zach, right?
Yeah.
And we just kept going and going and going. It's like every time we were so close to roll back. Jesus Christ, getting this rollback.
See, for me, there's a lot of memories I can really pull from with Ka, because I've been riding this thing for so long until it closed last year. But this car in particular was home to my final ride ever, right here. This seat, the left side of row 2, was my final ride ever. I was riding with my friend John Pratt, tears in my eyes, as Steven, who now is much higher up at the park, but back in the day, he was always the supervisor of Kingda Ka, and he checked my restraint for the final time, and that was just kind of full circle for me. And launching out that final time, I'll never forget it. All the memories that we made with Kingda Ka. After that excellent session of reminiscing on Ka, we got checked in to the Hampton Inn, which Silver Dollar City was kind enough to put us in Branson, Missouri, and that ended off day 3, which had pretty much no driving, but it was a nice, relaxing day. That was one of my favorite days of the trip. I think you guys know the drill by now. It is day 4.
Wait, what day is it? I can't even...
It's day 4.
4? Wait, what happened to 3?
Day 3 was Silver Dollar City. Day 2 was Holiday World. Day 1 was Hershey Park. And now here we are at day 4, as Darrius continues to struggle to get this lock off. Wow.
Generational differences.
For day 4, we didn't really have much of a definitive plan. It was pretty much playing it by ear. Whatever we could do, we were gonna do. But
what we would like to do is figure out a way to get these restraints open, which is gonna be more difficult than we would like it to be, but we're gonna try and figure it out. Also looks like Ka has an orange spider hanging along for the journey too. Look at that. Don't touch it.
Not gonna touch the spider, but we are gonna close the truck and whoa.
Careful there. It's got a couple more days. All right, there we go. Now it's time to roll. Ooh!
Now for this drive, unfortunately, we wound up going through Arkansas. Now I say unfortunately not because I don't like Arkansas. It's a fine state, a little weird, but it's fine. The issue was, we were driving this giant box truck on all of these back roads, 2-lane highways, which sucks. This was super hilly. There were turns all over the place. Instead of just taking us back up to the interstate and going out towards Oklahoma City, this had us go through Arkansas and eventually wind up on Interstate 40 West, which was not very pleasant for the drivers. We, of course, had to make a fuel stop while we were in Arkansas, and we saw some interesting things as well.
All right, Darrius, we're in this weird town in Arkansas. It's really annoying to drive through, I can tell. What have you noticed as we're driving through this place?
Okay. There's like 9 Walgreens in this town, and so far, I've counted at least 9 massage places. That makes 10 right there.
There you go.
And I'm guaranteeing you there's another one before we leave.
This is
So
ridiculous.
if you need a massage, come to this place in Arkansas. Apparently.
What is this place called? This is called Springdale. It's one of the outskirts of Springdale.
Springdale must be the massage capital of the United States. There's a massage place on every block, and apparently a pharmacy. There's another pharmacy.
Oh my lord, they must get sick all the time out here. Probably because they're not used to civilization.
There's urgent care.
And there's a
whole big
title place with tons of cops. It's a weird town with a lot of stupid drivers.
And they're always glad you came.
There's no way that Nickelodeon or Paramount, whoever owns this, would be okay with that. some of you may have noticed this banana.
The banana in the room.
The banana in the room. And everyone's asked why it's here. We didn't even realize people would notice it. I kind of forgot you can see it in literally every clip from the cabin here. You're just trying to get it ripened, right?
It was green, yeah, so it looks like it's probably ready now. It's probably baked at this point, but give it a shot.
Let's
see what
see.
it looks like.
The grand reveal of the banana that you're opening from the wrong side.
I open it this. Oh, you know what?
Ugh.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh no.
$10 for you to eat it.
No, I don't need $10, dude.
Yikes.
Yeah, I think we're sorry, banana. We're gonna.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Hello. This farm truck and Asian store, speed shop. Yeah, hey, what time you guys open till today? 5? We got something pretty cool you guys might want to check out. We have the Kingda Ka roller coaster from New Jersey. We're delivering it from New Jersey to the National Roller Coaster Museum. Thought you guys might get a kick out of it, maybe take a few pictures. How's that sound? Pretty good? All right, we'll see you later.
So the stop we're making here in Oklahoma City is to the Farm Truck and Asian Shop, which, Dad, is from what show?
Street Outlaws.
So if any of you guys are car guys, my dad and Scott are big car guys. You will definitely know them if you watch the show.
Hopefully we can get a chance. Hopefully Farm Truck is there itself, and we can get a picture of Kyle with Farm Truck.
I assume Farm Truck is the truck that Aizen drives?
No.
No?
Farm Truck is Farm Truck, and they call the guy who drives Farm Truck calls himself Farm Truck. And you have Asian.
Interesting.
We made it to Farm Truck and Aizen. It was a pretty cool little stop to break up the drive a little bit, get some cool pictures of Ka with the truck. We even got to see this, which was a monorail car, and the team turned it into an actual race car, which was super cool.
All right, Darrius, let's give the king his belt. Looks so good on it.
You know, I got my bad habit. I love my Red Bull, but I think you know who needs his wings?
Let's do this. Kingda Ka gives you wings.
But then after that, we continued onwards with our next stop being at Home Depot.
This is the reason we came, not for the Red Bull. We don't need any more wings. This. Now the reason we got that is so that we can attempt to open the restraints of Ka. We talked to someone from Intamin. They gave us some guidance on how it may be able to be done. So we're gonna see if we can be Intamin mechanics and get this thing open. As the Home Depot's motto goes, how doers get more done. We're doers, and we're hoping we can get some more done here with this.
And lo and behold,
Oh! Look at that!
Well, Colin, would you like your ride?
I would like to ride the final seat I ever rode in. Let's do it. Up it goes.
All right.
Wow.
How's it feel?
Surreal.
Why don't you close it?
Back a lot of memories, that's for sure. Wow. I feel like I was just on it yesterday. Wow.
Hey, Zooter,
Yeah, what's up?
you wanna get in?
Get it?
Sure.
There you go. Welcome in, Zooter.
Hey, check to see if you can open it.
Oh, we're gonna leave him in there.
Oh, you gotta get stapled one last time.
Oh, my least favorite.
I bet you thought that I was like doing this out of the kindness of my heart, but I think we should just drive around and hit every bump possible
I
with
think
you
that's a
two.
fantastic idea. Can you gun it 0 to 128 in 4 seconds?
3.5 seconds?
3.5 seconds.
I'm
Look at
not
this guy.
sure about that, but we'll try.
I have a question. Some people, when they count roller coaster credits, they'll count like Colossus when it runs forward as 1 credit, but then they'll also count it when they run it backwards as another credit. Does riding Kingda Ka in the back of a Penske truck, does that count as another credit?
You know, if we get the wheels rolling a little bit and we're moving, I think it counts.
It's a credit. We just don't know a credit for what. I don't know that it passes the RCDB sniff test
We'll have to
here.
talk to them.
I'm putting this on my log ride, guys.
So how much money you guys got?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Handsome now.
This is going to cost money. I mean,
Me or something like that.
we could set a fire underneath it and we could hand this to you like Saw.
Yeah.
It'd be one of those Saw puzzles.
See if you can figure out how to get it out.
I know I can get out. I don't know about Bryan though.
I don't know about both.
My Road 2 POV that I never got to film. Here we go. Oh yeah, I'm ready to launch. Let's do it. Okay. No. Well, I guess that's the end of that. Now we're stuck. Oh, they're really locking us in here. I didn't think I'd be getting back on Kingda Ka today.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really
All right,
fun.
well, they started up. No.
This has got me.
I hear the air brakes turning off. No.
Oh my. Oh! That.
Okay.
Did they actually just hit a curb?
No, I think they purposely jammed on the brakes to scare the ever-loving crap out of us.
And that is exactly what they did to us.
Hey, you got your rollback. Hey, I already got 2, so I guess we're just adding to my count at this point.
But playtime was over, it was time to lock the train back down and get ready to head to our next destination, which was actually a theme park. We were not planning on doing a theme park originally for the day, but we were able to squeeze Frontier City into the schedule because it was not far at all from where we were, and one of their coasters is really, really important to the story of Kingda Ka.
Look at this. This is one of the coolest things ever. We have Kingda Ka right next to Lightning Loops.
Lightning Loops originally opened back in 1978 at Six Flags Great Adventure as the park's first ever launch coaster, and this model, the Aero Shuttle Loop, was actually the first ever launching coaster. These were 2 interlocking versions of the Aero Shuttle Loop featuring an electric winch launch, and was an absolutely legendary pair of attractions at Great Adventure for so long until its removal in the 90s, and one of the halves of Lightning Loops was able to live on here at Frontier City, and being able to have the coaster that really did pave the way for Kingda Ka to even exist, sitting right next to it, really was something special, and I think a lot of us really appreciated that we were able to make this happen.
Well, Ka, thanks for coming to pay a visit, or I should say, Lightning Loops, thanks for letting Ka come pay you a visit. Now it's time to get back on the road. Goodbye.
After we bid farewell to Frontier City, we made a quick stop at Quick Trip, of course, for fuel and a slushie, and then continued on our way to our hotel in Weatherford, Oklahoma. It was about an hour away from Frontier City, and would put us around 4 hours, a little under 4 hours away from the National Roller Coaster Museum, so that we could finish the drive nice and easy on day 5.
All right, Dad, we have arrived. It's the Marriott.
Once we got there, Bryan and I kind of anticlimactically peeled off a little bit more of that wrapping on the train so that it was as exposed as it was going to get before we got to the museum, and after around 400 miles of driving, that was it for day 4, and it was time for us to go get some rest so we could be fully prepared for the dawn of day 5, the final day of Teal Team 6. And just like that, day 5 of Teal Team 6 had begun. We opened up the truck to get one final view of Ka before it began the final leg of the trip, and we stopped at Starbucks as well, so Ka got to meet Starbucks, and then the drive fully commenced. Now, originally the route was taking us directly to Plainview, which kind of went through some back roads in between interstates, but we realized it was only about 10 extra minutes of driving if we wanted to stop at Buc-ee's up in Amarillo, Texas, and considering we already passed up the Buc-ee's in Springfield, we knew we could not pass up another Buc-ee's, so off to Amarillo we went.
Welcome to the far west Texas, boys.
Whole lots of nothing. Just nothing. Old cows. That's about the most interesting thing we're going to see on this drive. Thankfully, we've only got about 54 minutes to Old Buc-ee's in Amarillo, and then another hour from there to get down to Plainview.
And while we were driving, Darrius needed to take a bathroom break, which is where something pretty interesting happened.
You gotta go to the bathroom, Phil?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Be right back, dude.
Okay. Well, I think this gives me the golden opportunity to hop in the driver's seat, doesn't it? Oh yeah. Ah! Hey, what are you doing? driver's seat.
I can't trust you. I'll take off this belt and give you a whipping.
Well, thankfully, I did not get a whooping, and hey, at least now I can actually say I drove Kingda Ka if somebody asked me. But regardless, we continued onwards towards Buc-ee's. It was around a 2.5-hour drive total, which went by pretty quick, and soon enough, Ka would arrive at the final pit stop before the National Roller Coaster Museum.
Buc-ee's of Amarillo right here. There we go. Well, now that we're here at Buc-ee's, I think we gotta go get Kingda Ka something. I mean, you can't bring Ka to Buc-ee's and not get it something to remember the experience. Thus, we ventured into Buc-ee's, got ourselves some food, and of course, brought Buc-ee himself out because he really wanted to go for a ride. Never got to do this before. We'll put you in the row too.
I guess he don't make the height right requirement.
No, the lap part of the restraint is not touching his thighs, so I don't think he can ride.
Got some brisket for Kingda Ka and some beaver chips.
Yes, we do.
After Buc-ee the Beaver played around in the Kingda Ka train for a little bit, it was time to depart Buc-ee's and bring Kingda Ka home. The museum was only a little over an hour away from Buc-ee's, making this one of the quickest drives of the trip and one of the most sentimental as we reflected on everything we had just done in the past week.
We are less than 30 minutes from Plainview, Texas, where Kingda Ka will meet its final destination. Darrius, you are currently behind the wheel. You are taking it home. How has the drive been, and what has this meant to you?
Listen, it's a big deal. The last, I won't mince any words. The last day, this drive has been a tear. It's a lot of time in the seat, and it feels like it. But bringing it from where I grew up in New Jersey to where I currently live in Texas, great honor. Hanging out with you guys for this long of a period of time. We didn't kill each other, and we, for the most part, still like each other. Phil, you got your moments. But no, I mean, just being able to spend time with you guys has been awesome, and getting to do this and take Kingda Ka to all the places that we did, including my favorite opportunity, which was to take it to the first New Jersey launch coaster, which was my first looping coaster ever. Just was a very emotional opportunity for me.
Well, when I pitched this idea, I really didn't expect to be sitting in this truck. We got to do a lot of cool things, and it's just a good way to close the story on this, because the story was not really written when this was retired, and I'm hoping just for everybody that's loved this ride so much and spent so much to them, that this really closes the story, appropriately for them.
I have so many words for this whole journey because this has really been something that I never thought would even be possible. I thought once that tower came down that was the last kind of tie-in to Kingda Ka that I was going to have story-wise until the new coaster opens, but being able to do this and, like they said, really close the chapter on this journey.
As Scott catches us knuckleheads driving past him, this really was the moment where it started to kick in that, wow, this is almost done. We had been babying the Kingda Ka train ever since we left at Great Adventure on Sunday, all the way up until this point, and knowing that we were just an hour or so away from it all being done was mind-blowing, and really did start to bring out the emotions. But I couldn't forget that none of this would have been possible had it not been for Great Adventure both approving the plan, donating the train. All of their help in this process, along with everyone else along the way, really did shape this trip into what it is and what it meant for the entire coaster world and even beyond. It really does mean a lot to know that we were the ones, after following the journey of Ka's demise in 2024, from the rumors to the markers to the closure to the implosion, really was a special journey to be on.
We made it! High five, Darrius. High five, Dad. We did it! Ka has made it.
That's right, we made it. After nearly 2,000 miles of driving, along with 30 hours in the truck, we made it to Plainview, Texas at the National Roller Coaster Museum. Moved the truck around a little bit to get it ready for unloading, and then went and took
one last look inside the truck, with Ka still here with the drones circling us. There's the upstock wheels, got what's left of the covering. This will come off along with this once we get her inside and get the straps off, and then that'll be the end of Ka's road trip.
To prep for unloading, we removed those same pieces of wood Great Adventures carpenters had helped us lay just a couple days prior, and then went inside the museum, and my first reaction was, whoa! Yeah, so I was pretty impressed by it.
Darrius, you see this?
This is crazy.
But that's enough gawking at the museum for now. We'll have plenty of time to do that after the fact. What we needed to do right now was get the train out of the truck. So Larson International, which is located right next door, was kind enough to come over and help us out. They used their Skytrax, and the first attempt didn't exactly work. There were no extenders on the forks, and it couldn't quite lift the full weight of the car, so they went and got the extenders and then got to work on unloading. watching Kingda Ka as it was paraded past all of the other deceased attractions sitting inside the National Roller Coaster Museum was emotional, to say the very least. It really did feel like we accomplished something, like we were able to write the ending to this ride that it so very much so deserved, and thankfully was able to get thanks to the efforts of Great Adventure, the museum, and of course, us here at Teal Team 6.
As we stand with the empty box truck, Darrius, Dad, it's the end of our journey.
Yes, it is.
We made it. We completed Operation Teal Team 6. How do you guys feel?
I'll drop it how it is. Sorry, kids. We get done.
We do. We really do.
And our ability to get things done wasn't done quite yet. We came back the next day, met up with Kris, finally, the social media manager of the National Roller Coaster Museum, where we did one final unwrapping of the train.
Oh! Not yet!
Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Last piece.
There she is.
And then after my dad and Darrius had some fun with some pallet jack wars.
As a new credit. Oh, careful there.
We helped Kris set up the exhibit for Kingda Ka with its display and all, which you can see whenever you visit one of the National Roller Coaster Museum's events, which are always posted on their website, or you can just reach out and see if they're able to accommodate a visit. But that marked the end of our time at the museum and the official ending to Teal Team 6. It was only as we drove away from the museum that it finally started to set in that we had just accomplished one of the craziest things ever done in the amusement park industry. We were able to not only successfully transport and assist the National Roller Coaster Museum in acquiring a piece of roller coaster history, but we were also able to document it in such a way that really did bring everyone together and unite everyone by their memories for this beloved attraction. Kingda Ka was an attraction that meant maybe more than any other ride out there to me. This is the ride that I credit with really getting me into roller coasters. Once I finally rode it, I truly felt like I could do anything. And even to this day, there's not a single ride out there that matches that initial bit of fear and adrenaline you got before launching on Kingda Ka. And being able to play such a significant part in the end of this legendary ride's run really does mean the world to me. What this whole experience was really able to teach me is a lesson about believing in an idea. You could come up with what may be the craziest, most absurd proposition for something, and maybe even be called stupid or laughed at for even considering it to be a possibility. But if you take a step back and really, truly believe that your idea is something that will go far, that will make an impact, that will cause or create something that may have been previously unimaginable, then go for it. Throw all the mental power you have at that idea and make sure that you never stop believing that it could become a reality. This, which started as an idea from my dad that I initially dismissed as being impossible and stupid, turned into this incredible passion project that, through the power of collaboration and determination, was able to successfully close the chapter of the most legendary roller coaster to ever exist. And with that, I leave you all with one phrase, a phrase that will surely live on forever amongst roller coaster enthusiasts. Long live the king.